Thank you for hanging out with us on the Movie Wars podcast today. Today we had executive chef and stand-up comedian Matt West join us to talk about the Goonies, where we shared a few not-so-popular opinions about a beloved film. We talk about our thoughts on the movie, followed by the questions, which are questions that I write to generate comedic banter, great discussion about the movie, followed by randos, which are the most interesting facts that I uncovered during my research of the movie, and we close it out with the war card. 5 categories, yes or no, and we use those answers to determine whether or not we approve of the Goonies. Share with your friends, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
Movie Wars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Movie Wars podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Seth.
I'm Matt West.
Matt West is back after giving us all the behind-the-scenes shit on being an executive chef, cooking, the realism of the restaurant industry. He brought that for chef, and now he's bringing that to Goonies.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to apply, but we'll find something food-related.
We'll make it work.
We're just joking. He's also a comedian, so
They
he can
did
talk
eat
about
ice cream at one point.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Lots of ice cream.
Lots of ice cream.
And a Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
How do you...
Yeah, the Babe Ruth was a big deal.
How do you find that your career as a chef informs your comedy? What's the relationship there?
Well, I mean, it's an absurd job, right? And I deal with things that in my day-to-day that a lot of people would have a hard time like understanding, like what I deal with, like allergies, for example. I have an entire bit about this.
Yeah.
Like food allergies have exploded the past few years, and a lot of chefs get upset about it. I'm not one of those guys. I feel like everybody deserves a seat at the table. When I'm writing out menus, I'm very cognizant of like what are the major allergies that are floating around, because I want everybody to be able to eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, sometimes you run across some that you've never dealt with.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a lady that came in that said she was allergic to the color red.
Like tomatoes or red dye?
So when I say red, most people are like red dye 40. That makes sense.
Yes.
She's allergic to an enzyme that turned vegetables red.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
This is real?
This is a real thing. So I took a red onion out there because red onions are fucking purple.
Oh, my God.
We can agree on that.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm like, hey, are you allergic to this? And she was like, purple is in red. So yes. And I'm like,
Oh, my.
are we even talking about food anymore,
Yeah.
bitch? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That joke always kills. Like,
That's
when I do
incredible.
it on stage. But it was such an insane allergy. And then you get some people that are allergic. They should just be breathing air.
Yeah.
Like they're like a guy came in was allergic to peanuts, latex,
So no
dairy,
condoms, y'all.
Yeah.
dairy, flour.
Yeah, I would just
fucking-
shoot myself at that point.
We're doing the Goonies today.
Woo woo!
And I knew at some point this would pop up on the podcast.
I mean, it's worth discussing. This is the second time I've ever seen it, so I feel like I have a bit of a unique look because I did not grow up with this movie at all.
Yeah, same. And I've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but my parents just did not give a shit what I watched. That's why my favorite movie of all time is RoboCop, and I watched it for the first time when I was 5.
Yeah.
It's one of the most violent movies. It had an X rating when he first submitted that film. Like, my parents just did not give a shit.
Yeah.
And so you give me a hard time about 1010. But I literally skipped all that.
Yeah.
I skipped kid movies.
Yeah.
I skipped Disney movies. And it wasn't until I started having kids. I hated that they watched Toy Story. But I finally did warm up to it because I kind of saw it through their eyes. Like,
Yeah.
I see why they love Toy Story. But that's why their Toy Story was Cobra and Commando and, RoboCop. That was my kids movie. So it's almost been like a reverse sear to get back to. So yeah, I'm retroactively going back, and this was also funny enough. This was also my second time. I really hated it the first time.
I didn't hate it. I didn't enjoy it either the first time. This time was better. Like I enjoyed it significantly more this time.
I was in a really bad place emotionally when I watched it the first time.
Oh shit, me too.
Really? Damn.
Yeah.
Were we in the same room?
Maybe.
But I appreciated it more, and we'll get into it more throughout the show, but it only got marginally better.
Yeah.
I really wanted to try to embrace it because I know it's there are some, and I have a category about this, but one of the biggest things is like people have been begging for a sequel. I don't
Honestly,
get it.
though, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why it is as good as it is because it is fully standalone. You're not asking questions about what happens next because
Right.
they told you. They
Right.
bought the town back. Like there is no, you would have to come up with a whole other legend that they never mentioned in the first movie.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I would not be able to suspend any disbelief about there being two massive legends in the same small town. Like, I can have fun with the idea that the creepy town legend in one movie actually is a real thing. But there's no way you're going to have two legends that both turn out to be true. Like, that is such a stretch, even for a fantasy-like movie.
What I found odd about it is like they fucking knew, like everybody knew what the legend was.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It was weird because
Well,
there was
I feel like that's a thing, especially in northeastern towns, is you do have so many crazy pirate stories.
Well, they're in the-
and
they're
like
in the
Salem witch
Northwest,
trial
though, right?
stuff. Was that the Northwest? I thought it was the
I
Northeast.
thought Astoria was in Oregon.
It was in Oregon.
Oh, my bad. I messed that up then. Well, then still, but it's still a coastal town. There's still
Right.
gonna have pirate legends. Like that makes sense. And it makes sense that like it's the one you hear in school or at campouts and Boy Scouts. Like everyone in the town is gonna know the legend of One-Eyed Willie. But yeah, like everyone's gonna know the legend of One-Eyed Willie. But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like, yeah, you make a sequel and either everybody has to move to a new place and there's a new legend, or you're going to try to convince me that, oh no, this town had two legends, but we only talked about the one last time. We never even hinted at the other one last time.
Well, there was like a scene, I don't know, like I tried to put myself in a situation where it was like the bad guys, they find the doubloon
Yeah.
or whatever, and they knew what they were looking at.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, if I would have found that, I'd been like, this is fucking weird.
Well, weren't the bad guys looking for the treasure before the movie even started?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, they would be intimately familiar with
All
what
right.
they're
Well,
looking
that
for.
makes sense. I guess I missed that part,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say, can we give praise to Pierce Morgan for playing both the Bird Lady in Home Alone 2 and the mom of the family in this one?
And the mom and I think Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
They all look so
She's
similar.
typecasted.
Yeah, she's the grungy old mom
Yeah.
who may or may not be on fentanyl.
But that's still my favorite conspiracy theory is that's
Quaaludes
actually
at the
Pierce
time.
Morgan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's funny.
that's
I hate that
As soon
guy
as I
so
saw
much.
her, I was like, it's the same person.
That's
and it's
hilarious.
Piers Morgan sucks.
that's so funny. You know, maybe you and your childhood friends are causing a ruckus, and you are looking for the treasure.
Yeah.
The treasure is Movie Wars.
Yeah.
There's no need to look for anything else.
You found the
You
treasure.
found us.
There's nothing else out there.
Look at this
Literally.
doubloon. He's
Look
a
at
whole,
me.
He's a whole doubloon over there.
I look more like Sloth than anything. But please share Movie Wars. I'm sure you got a Goonies fan out there. Try to figure out why. Why do they like this movie? Why?
I think we'll find out a little bit as we go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Share Movie
Yeah,
Wars.
I'm a little lost on the lore of the whole thing, and you know, honestly, I feel like it's crazy to watch some of these '80s movies now, in the present time, because some of the things that went on have not aged well. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's insane. I don't know. Like, have you guys like just with the little Asian kid? There was a lot of things that I was like, that might be a little stereotypical, but
Yeah.
and
Maybe it's because of this movie that those things became stereotypical.
oh no.
Well, I mean,
Have you seen Revenge of the Nerds?
I haven't
mean,
actually.
We should do one. I would love to come back for a podcast episode on that movie
I'd be down.
okay.
because it is
Yeah.
it is fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway,
Especially because now life feels like Revenge of the Nerds because the nerds are all the richest people.
right? And they're trying to enslave us and implant us with chips. Looking at you, Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
That was honestly a significantly better deep cut. I would most people I feel like would have just gone straight Elon Musk, but no, Peter Thiel. That was solid.
Elon is a bitch.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel is the real the villain.
The questions.
Here we go.
Is the Goonies the best kids cast of all time?
No.
No. Here's some of the most beloved ones just for a benchmark. Stand By Me, Stranger Things, The Goonies, Sandlot, E.T. was on the list, and Hook.
I think just of the ones that I've seen, the Sandlot is miles beyond where this one was. As much as I love Josh Brolin, I love Corey Feldman, I love Sean Astin.
Yeah.
there was, and we'll especially get into this when we get into the war card, but there was just something that didn't feel the same level of cohesion that I felt from the Sandlot.
Right.
Like there was just something missing in this one that I don't even know if I could fully point it out, but I don't know if you've seen Time Bandits, but that one even felt more cohesive to me than this one did as far as the relationship between the kids. I do think Josh Brolin and Sean Astin had the best relationship because they easily could have made Josh Brolin just the piece of shit older brother who was an asshole the whole time. But you could tell even with the ribbing, like he actually really does love his little brother. And when he chases after them, it's not because he's trying to ruin their good time. It's because he's like genuinely concerned they're all going to die. But that was really it. Everyone else had never really felt cohesive for me.
I don't know. Stand By Me is just so raw.
I haven't seen it. That's the only reason I can't
it's
comment
such
on that.
I think Stand By Me is by far shitting on all of those because if you've seen that movie, it is fucking raw and there's not even really anything cute about it at all. It's just like these kids really being traumatized for life. Yeah. And but for me personally, it's got to be Stand By Me.
Hell, even the It remakes.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Nailed the kids. Yeah, I agree. I think it's very chaotic, and I think they leaned into the chaos in a way to make it feel like actually being around a bunch of kids all the time.
That was actually something I was going to bring up, was the fact, and I was going to get to this in the writing section, but like there was quite a bit of the script that I felt like the direction was just like, hey, just start talking and yelling over each other, and here's what you're yelling about. Yeah. So it's funny you say that, because I felt the same way.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
The dialogue, and some of the scenes are hard to keep up with, like when they're they're setting off the traps in the pirate ship. Like, I don't, like, it's just like parts working together. I don't actually see, like, is this like an actual trap? I don't see how it's all working together.
Yeah, and they kind of teased that with the Rube Goldberg machine at the very beginning, but no, I feel the same way.
Yeah. Well, the whole way they got into where that area was at was just weird. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, this hose broke. The whole thing is they were trying to get out.
Yeah.
And they're in the country club, they're rattling the pipes.
Yeah.
Right.
And shit's happening, and it's like, why wouldn't you just stay there? Because now you've alerted a bunch of people you're down there.
Yeah.
And they know this, but then there's like, they busted a pipe, and it blew
a hole in the wall.
A wall, and they're like, oh, hey, here's all this. And it's like, let's go further in that.
Yeah.
Even though we have a bunch of naked old men are right above us.
Yeah.
That was a weird scene that I didn't feel like needed to be there.
Yeah.
It was just like, because old men in public showers are weird anyway. And there's kids. So it was like, you got naked men. Look, clearly, like, you watch them. I was like, when they showed that scene, I'm like, these guys are being gay in here right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that happens a lot. It's weird.
And also
YMCA's
attaching the broken penis back to the statue.
That was one of the parts I actually really laughed at. That was funny.
It's just funny. It's just weird. Like, 1985 was a weird year for kid movies.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think for me, with everything that's going on, it really just kind of shows you how fucking gross Hollywood is.
Yeah.
Because why are a group of kids putting a dick back on a statue?
Yeah.
And you make sure that they put it back on hard.
It's my mom's favorite part.
Exactly.
Like, what the
it's
fuck?
like, why are we even...
I agree. I hate it.
know.
And that's actually, it leads into my next question. Is it hard watching The Goonies? Is it hard watching any movie where there's a child ensemble, knowing how child actors turn out a lot of the time? I would say over half the time.
And especially with Corey Feldman. How like he started acting in this time, and then as time went on, he just got literally abused by so many producers and just people in the industry. Like, it is really hard to like look back on that, because I even think back to like movies like the Apple Dumpling Gang back in the 50s, and it's just, now I have questions. Now I have so many questions about, were those kids actually treated right? Like, were their parents even on set with them, or did they just drop them off and be like, cool, have fun at work today, you fucking 8-year-old? Like, it's really hard to recontextualize certain things.
Yeah. Drew Barrymore did coke for the first time on the set of Firestarter when she was 11, I think.
Jesus.
And I think that's the problem with so much of media today. It's like, when I'm picking a movie out now, it's like, all right, which pedophile can I stand to watch for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I absolutely hate that, because it's like, why Does that have to be involved to make art?
Yeah.
Why did we do, like, why have we just allowed this to happen?
Yeah.
And it's sad. It really is. I mean, and then when you see the movie itself, I mean, there's innuendos to things that children should not be involved with.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one of the weird areas, like, I'm typically able to disassociate myself from the actors and the filmmakers. Like, we've talked a lot about this. Like, Tom Cruise is one of those actors that his personality can almost, or even his best, most dramatic roles, like Magnolia, there's still a part of you that's like, that's Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And But with the kid stuff, you know, like Corey Feldman, I always talk about Billy Corgan's podcast, but he was on Billy Corgan's podcast, and you know, whether it's true or not is really hard to nail down. Like, I know he was abused, but some of the stuff he says is so. Like, he says that Michael Jackson says that he wrote a song that would have been the biggest song in the world. Oh. Like, he says that about Michael Jackson because they had a relationship. They were friends. And they started when they were kids. He actually met him on the set of the Goonies.
Oh, wow.
So, because they had a Michael Jackson joke that they needed to clear with him, but Steven Spielberg was friends with Michael Jackson.
Right, okay.
And that's how Corey Feldman met him. But they became friends, and apparently, like, you know, Corey Feldman tells the story where it's like, I had a song, and Michael said if we would have released it, it would have been the biggest song in the world. But then the record labels and like, you're listening to Corey and you're so sympathetic for what he went through, but then you're like, but he's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, I zoom out. It's easy for me to see Tom Cruise, like, yeah, he's nuts, but, you know, good movie. Yeah. But with kids, it's hard. I do have a hard time.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about this in the Sandlot too, but like, something I did notice in this that I appreciated was at the very least, like when she accidentally kissed Sean Astin instead of Josh Brolin, at least they were significantly closer in age than like the 10-year-old who made out with what's her face, Susie or whatever.
Yeah.
Steph.
Yeah.
Steph. Yeah. It's just,
Wendy Peppercorn.
Wendy Peppercorn.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you were talking
that
Sandlot.
Yeah. And I'm just like that. In Sandlot, that felt way more creepy, especially knowing that she was not a minor anymore. Yeah. But it's like at this one, at least the kids were like 13, 14, and she was like 16. Like it didn't feel as gross.
Yeah. Why do these filmmakers want to, like, and this is the thing, people really do experience these things. Yeah. But they're typically the worst of people's lives. These are the lowest moments of the existence of those people. Like, why do we want to, like, the Wendy Peppercorn thing's a good example. Like, if that really happened to a person, like, they would probably look back and say, I didn't like that. Yeah. Like, that was a low point. Yeah. Like, why here we're going to celebrate it in a movie?
Yeah, and I think it just kind of shows the attitude. Like, back then, I guess with filmmakers especially, when you're trying to tell that kind of story, you're putting your brain in the brain of a child in that moment. And it's like, especially with Sandlot, it was like, I think I said this on the episode, it was, I get the fantasy of being the 11-year-old who wants to make out with a 16-year-old, but it's like, then you look at it as an adult and you should think, as an adult writing that script, this is fucking weird. And it's like, it's weird that it got through.
I mean, they're all weirdos. Yeah. And in a lot of those 80s movies really highlight. That's what I was saying. Like, if you rewatch some of those movies and just how they've aged, you're like, oh, it was always right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's like a generational thing, too, because our generation, millennials, boomers, and Gen Xers, like, I feel like they were very just kind of turned a blind eye to those types of things, those types of abuses. Because if you talk to any of them, they all knew some sort of neighborhood pedophile. Yeah. They're like, oh, we got to stay away from that guy, or that guy will give you beer, and you know, you go behind the alleyway and do some weird shit. Our generation, if you think about it, we really shut all of that down when we came of age. That's when the Catholic Church stuff started coming out, is right around when we became adults. Yeah. And it's like the Boy Scout thing came out, and that was all our generation that stopped that. So,
in Penn State.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All that. Yeah, dude, that was insane.
That makes me feel fucking ill.
I know. Yeah. So Gen Z, you're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
No,
we couldn't have done no TikTok dance. We would have got snatched up.
Yeah. Yep. And shout out to Dusty Slay. One of his best bits is about how no one wanted to abduct him. Remember?
Oh,
it was like, no. What does he say? It's like, no, we don't want him.
Yeah.
You take the
shout out, Dusty.
What does he say? Take the candy. We say that because Dusty also just released his second special on Netflix. He's near and dear to the Nashville community, and he's one of the greatest comedians working. And go check out his special.
Please do it.
Free promo for our friend Dusty. So, second question. Great discussion. Dark discussion.
Yeah.
But you got to
That's
talk.
Hollywood.
Yeah, it's dark.
I was thinking about this as a parent. I have 4 kids. I say that all the time. Would you actually show this to your kids? I mean, at what age?
I think honestly, like 11 to 13, somewhere in that range is fine.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a little more adult than something my parents would have let me watch as a kid, which is why I never watched it until I was in my late 20s. But I don't know. I do think the story itself is very fun.
Yeah.
And sure, they say shit and some stuff like that here and there. But even in context, I'm like, this isn't just like straight up vulgarity.
Right.
They're honestly reacting to in ways that I probably would have. So I don't know. It's good. It definitely starts a little dark, but at the same time, kids do have to be exposed to that kind of stuff at some point. So I don't know if I'll ever have kids. So I don't know if I'll ever have to make this decision. But I feel like somewhere between 11 and 13, just depending on the kids, probably a good range to see it.
My oldest is 11. You're good with 13. I think that's actually probably.
Yeah.
There's just the dick statue thing is where I probably.
It gets weird with that,
Yeah.
and it's just there's just some just strange things. Like I said, that shower scene in the country club, I felt like was completely uncalled for.
Yeah.
But
I laughed.
I mean, no, it was funny, but it's like if you know what happens in those showers in those types of places, it's a lot of homosexual activity, and it's like. Which is fine, but it's like kids don't. If it's supposed to be generated to kids, I feel like that was just a silly scene to put in for children.
My devil's advocate to that would be if you're making movies for children, you also have to make them for the parents. And so there are scenarios in there where the kids are going to get the base level of the funny of just being a bunch of old dudes in the group shower, and then the adults are going to get the funny part of,
they're all being gay.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would be my response to that is you do, and genuinely, the best kids' movies are the ones that also draw the parents in. Like, there's so many innuendo jokes in Toy Story specifically, but they're so well layered into the script that you really only get it when you're, like, in your 20s.
And honestly, I think the movie is, I think a side note of the movie is I think it's a commentary on the American medical situation that we have.
No?
Because like the crime family, they have a very special needs son that they don't really know how to take care of.
Yeah.
And it's probably very expensive for his medical bills. So they've turned to crime to take care of their special needs child.
Yeah. Well, they also apparently were going to get his teeth fixed, and then what's his name? Joe, I forget his last name, but he used it for a hairpiece.
Oh, Joe Pantalone.
Yeah.
Joey Pants.
Which I loved. I loved him being in this because I didn't remember he was in it, and then I was like, oh shit, because I loved him in The Matrix, loved him in Memento. Like every time I've seen him pop up, Sopranos, every time I've seen him pop up, I'm just like, this dude is great.
He's great in
such
Memento.
A fun little villain in this.
Well, he's the penultimate, like if like platonic mold, the perfect mold, the perfect mold of a supporting actor. Is Joey Pants.
Absolutely,
and that's why. Like he is just the ultimate like sixth man. To put it in basketball terms, he's incredible. Knocks out of the park, and he probably could be a feature. But he just knocks it out as like a supporting guy. He's done it his whole career.
I mean, have you seen Memento?
Yeah,
Memento's great.
I would consider him one of the leads in that.
Yeah,
like
for
I don't
sure.
even consider him supporting in that.
Yeah,
he just absolutely sold it like so well.
Ralph in The Sopranos, is awful in terms of like he plays him so well. As such an awful character.
He's a bad guy.
He's so bad.
So bad.
Which I should have brought this up last week, but I also love the fact that Jon Favreau played himself in The Sopranos.
Yep.
Like that was just such a fun little moment.
Yes. So good. Last question, and this might piss a few people off. Does the Goonies actually hold up, or is it just pure nostalgia?
I would say it's 2/3 nostalgia, and then a decent amount of it still holds up. But I don't think it's as great as a lot of people would like to think it is.
Yeah, I really don't understand the following behind it. I mean, the movie is just...
It's fine.
There was just a lot of things that they did that if they would have just listened to Chunk instead of making him shake his titties, they may have not been in some of those situations. The whole time he's like, hey, I don't know about that. And they're like, bring your fat ass on. You know what I mean? And it was just like, come on, man.
Granted, though, I kind of understand because the whole time he annoyed the shit out of me, too.
Yeah. I mean, he was a dumbass, but I mean, like...
Yeah.
Not even just being a dumbass, just his. And again, sometimes I wonder if they had kept the audio on set, would I have liked certain things better? But maybe it was something to do with his ADR or
the
what.
ADR is bad.
It's pretty bad in this movie.
The volume is bad.
Yeah.
The sync is bad to the lips. It's all bad.
I think he was one of the worst ones.
He was, yeah.
Although he does have some of the funniest lines.
Definitely, but I don't know.
When
Overall,
you can hear them.
he just I was like, please move on. Like, I'm tired of him.
I agree. I don't get it. And I know, and I have my own versions of this movie. Like, when someone says they can't believe RoboCop's my favorite movie, I'm just like, go to hell.
Yeah.
Literally just go to hell. I get it. There is such a thing as time and place, but this movie it annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
The ADR is bad. The clashing lines when they're just all yelling and screaming, you can't understand.
Okay, so I looked into this. Richard Donner is the director. He also did a movie called Timeline. It was one of his last movies with Gerard Butler and Paul Walker. And he, outside of the Superman movies, Richard Donner is notorious for directing his actors to speak over each other.
Really?
Like, that was actually something he was incredibly well known for. And it really... It's if it's done correctly, it can be done really well. And Timeline is a movie where that is actually done really well because I don't know if you've seen it, but basically people accidentally go back in time with no way to get back, and it really portrays the chaos of that story. This, I think it added more chaos than it portrayed. Like it became chaotic because of that dialogue style instead of just enhancing the already chaotic moments.
Yeah. I mean, he also did Lethal Weapon, which is one of my favorite all time. And that one, there are moments of chaos, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, it's like from that perspective. Yeah, I just don't know, man. Like, I think it's cluttered. I think it's disorganized. I think it's hard to follow in places because some of the cuts are bad.
Yeah.
I think there's not a lot of continuity in places. There's weird moments, like you mentioned with the country club and the dick statue, that are kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's so much nostalgia. I don't think he can go back and even knowing how great Donner is, he's going to go down as one of the absolute best of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And we got Spielberg as a writer and a producer, Christopher Columbus as a writer who would go on to do Home Alone. Like, there are legendary hands all over this thing.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a huge miss.
See, that's also where I'm like, I would love to have read the script that Richard Donner was given, not whatever they've put out since, because most of the times after a movie is released, they'll rewrite the script to fit the movie.
Yeah.
I want to see what Richard Donner was given, because I want to know if the direction in the script was actually as chaotic as the script ended up being. Because sometimes I look at it, and when you have scenes where everyone's talking over each other, that's where I'm like, was it written that way? Or did Richard Donner just be like, okay, you guys are going to yell at each other about this thing, go.
Yeah. Well, there's a third scenario, this is what happened. I know there's a lot of Steven Spielberg lovers out there, but as a producer, he's not great to work with all the time. This is just like with what happened with Poltergeist. Did Tobe Hooper direct it, or did Steven Spielberg direct it?
Gotcha.
Yeah, Hooper's name is on it, but Steven Spielberg, this is what happened here.
Okay.
Donner, who himself was a better director than Hooper at the time Hooper did Poltergeist, even though he had Texas Chainsaw under his belt, he hadn't gone on to scale up a huge film yet, so Spielberg brought his experience. Here, Donner has Superman. He's the one that brought us Superman to the screen. He has experience, and he's worked with Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
And he's worked with Gene Hackman and Christopher Reeve. I mean, he has experience. But the kids and all the special features and later interviews, in fact, all the cast, including Josh Brolin, got together to do the commentary on this, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And even Cohen, who plays Chunk, he's a lawyer now.
Nice.
Was on, and he's fit. He's very fit now. He became a high school athlete, actually.
Truffle Shuffle traumatized him.
Yeah, it did. And I got a rando about that. But they all said that they were all directed more by Spielberg than they ever were by Donner.
Interesting.
Whatever it is, and I know it's because he's one of the top 5 greatest storytellers of all time.
And also had significantly more experience directing kids. I will say that.
True. And obviously he saw something like with Indiana Jones, because there's the casting there. How do you say his name? I want to say it correctly.
Yeah, I think it's Ke Huy. I forget his last name.
Yeah, Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah.
Who would go on to win an Oscar for as an adult.
Yeah.
He won an Oscar.
Yeah, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
Incredible. And so obviously Steven Spielberg sees things.
Yeah.
And child actors, and Donner did struggle. Like he did. There's a good rando about this, but he had a hard time directing kids, and I think Spielberg can also overstep.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do think Hooper could have directed Poltergeist in the way he wanted to.
Yeah.
Because he had horror cred.
Yeah.
Randos. This is crazy. I think the Truffle Shuffle is what people think about when they think back to this movie.
Absolutely.
I find it uncomfortable, personally, and I'm not trying to be, we talked about political correctness. I was a fat kid, a very fat kid. In fact, I was a fat adult until 7 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I just lost 40 pounds.
According to some, you are still fat as fuck.
According to all of the people in our comments, which they have not. I played a bunch of middle schoolers in basketball yesterday at our neighborhood barbecue. I owned them.
There you go.
You should have seen me dunking on them with my fit body. So Cohen was very uncomfortable doing it. He had chickenpox. And the red spots that you see on them, those are real chickenpox. But he didn't want to get replaced. He didn't want to get recast, so he didn't tell anybody. Donner would later admit that he was horrified that he asked him to do it.
Yeah.
But it actually, what ended up happening was because of this experience, he ended up becoming a high school athlete.
Yeah.
He ended up getting in great shape, and now he's a lawyer.
Hell yeah.
And apparently there's a lot of hilarity with people that he represents because they're like, we're represented by Chunk.
Yeah.
But so his story does go full circle. But it's I think, I'll just say it, I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's true to, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, I think it is true to childhood. Like, I think there is always a miscast person in your friend group. And I was that person a lot. I was the fat kid. I was made fun of by my friend for being fat. Maybe that's why I didn't like it. Maybe it's why it's easier for some people to think it's funny. I just didn't think it was.
Could you imagine, like, you being like catapulted into the cultural zeitgeist for being a fat ass your entire life?
Hashtag Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just how traumatizing it is. And Jonah Hill's a good example of it. And like, he left the spotlight soon after that, was never really around much, and he's a lawyer now. But Jonah Hill, because that's how he was introduced to us. And then when he loses weight, like, there's these TMZ articles about it, and he's had a very public struggle with people like body shaming him. And it's just, it comes down to, like, when it comes to men, they don't necessarily get the support behind losing weight and all that like women do, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But like, he has had a very public issue with his weight being, what he does with it being like a topic of discussion. And it's like real journalists are sitting down and writing articles about him losing weight, which it's like, it goes back to the food critic thing we were talking about earlier. Like, that's your fucking job.
Yeah.
Like, that's your job. You live and eat off of making fun of somebody or writing an article because they lost weight. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
They did it to what's her face, the singer.
Adele?
Yeah.
Lizzo, too.
Not Lizzo. The other famous Adele.
Adele, yeah.
Right. Yep.
Because Adele lost a ton, and they went after her for losing weight because I guess she was body shaming the other way.
Well, she got body shaming the other way. She was never body shaming other people. But yeah, it's like, I hear a lot of podcasters will talk about how it's basically just the fat women who are mad that they couldn't lose the weight too. And so they're like, well, if you're going to do that, then we got to say fuck you. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people see people take control of their lives and they don't have control of their lives, and they get real mad about that.
I mean, I'm pro people losing weight.
Yeah.
Like the fat activists kill me. I get like being comfortable in your own skin, but don't talk shit about people losing weight and saying you're being discriminated against because you're trying to be a fat ass your whole life. But I don't know. I think being morbidly obese is obviously not a good sign that you're taking care of yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I can tell you, I mean, and I only lost 40 pounds and my bones have thanked me.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Just feeling different every way. And again, it's not shaming anybody. I was there. And kind of taking it back to Chunk, like he's an age where you really don't have control over that.
Yeah, and that's what's uncomfortable about the whole Truffle Shuffle thing. Because now that I've gotten older and got a little bit wiser, I'm like, man, that was maybe a little fucked up. Because I was a fat kid at that age too. You know what I mean? And you're already dealing with a lot of crazy emotions that you've never felt before. Yeah, and then to be made aware that you are fat. In the middle of all that, it's like, oh, here's just another thing that I suck at.
And then it's got to be your whole life. I mean, obviously he's been successful, but I would hate to live with something like that.
Same.
Second rando, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but Steven Spielberg played a prank on Richard Donner. So, and I guess he told Spielberg in the last 2 weeks of making this movie, while Spielberg was producing it that he's like, I love these kids, but I can't stand them anymore. Like I cannot wait to finish this movie.
Yeah.
And I just want to go to my house in Hawaii. And so he went on a vacation to Hawaii. God bless. I'm so glad you have a vacation home. Actually, rest in peace, Donner.
Yeah, I was going to say he's dead, but anyways.
Dead. Love you, Richard. But Spielberg played a prank on him and actually brought all the kids to his house in Hawaii.
Oh, that's amazing. That is one of the best pranks I've ever heard of.
Yes. Yeah, and yeah, so he brings them there, and I guess Donner said, "What the fuck?" And he burst out into laughter he was at a cookout. I guess they were cooking out when the kids arrived.
That's amazing.
And I guess somewhere there's footage of his shock. I guess Spielberg had a video camera. It would have been a VHS.
So
yeah. And
see, those are my favorite pranks. Are the ones that are genuinely harmless, but you're definitely playing on something that's going to bother the other person.
That's amazing. Last rando, and this is hilarious. This is the ultimate case of kids being kids. But Sloth's makeup took about 4 to 5 hours. A lot of it was what's the word for it? Like but not animatronic. What do they call it when it's not animal, but it's electric? It's robotic.
Oh yeah, animatronic.
No, so that even there. So it's animatronic part of it. So the eye and the ears are
okay.
Yeah. So
I thought so because there was one point where the ear was flapping back and forth weirdly, and I was like, "Is that? Did they? Okay,
yeah."
So that makes sense.
And so the guy that played Sloth was an NFL player, John Matuzak.
Okay.
And I think it was maybe the only film he did, but he was a really big dude. And they told the kids, like, we cannot get this wet. It's going to ruin. And it took 4 to 5 hours to get this all on him. Within the first few minutes of filming. And the first scene they actually filmed with it was when they bury him and hug him at the end.
Yeah.
That was actually the first scene they did with him.
Oh, wow.
And they splashed water on him.
Of course.
Immediately. And ruined it 5 minutes. And Donner said, classic case of kids being kids.
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, it's not even that. Like, so when they were shooting the Hobbit movies, the first scenes they shot was Bilbo and Gollum in the Riddles in the Dark because Andy Serkis went on to be the second unit director. So they wanted to get his scene over with and get him out of there. But they had his rig set up for all the motion capture, including a couple of cameras on his face so they could capture, the really intricate movements of his face. And again, he was warned. He was like, "Hey, we've only got a couple of these. Don't get them wet."
Yeah.
First take, just buries it in water. And Peter Jackson looks at the rest, the people in charge of that, and he's like, "How many of those do we have?" And he's like, "We got 4 more." He's like, "You better go make another 20 because this is going to keep happening."
That's hysterical.
I mean,
so it happens all over the place.
Also, like half that movie was filmed next to or in water, which is insane.
Wet places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get it wet, but we're going to throw you in the water.
Yeah. That's funny. Shall we find the treasure?
Let's do this.
Shall we find the pirate ship and save our parents from, I guess, losing their homes as a group?
Let's war.
Yeah. These kids are like, they come off as orphans.
Yeah,
but they're
kind
not. The whole movie, you think they're orphans. You're like, oh, yeah, they have parents.
Yeah, they have loving families.
But it just, one thing about these 80s movies, and I've talked to people that grew up in that time, it's like, it seems like everybody was trying to kill each other. Like that scene where he like holds his hand and drives with the car.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Even if I don't like you, I'm not going to try to like murder you. You know?
Granted, wouldn't have been as funny if he hadn't been on a bike with training wheels.
Right.
Yeah. And
That was funny.
And when you don't have screens to pacify your children like they do, like when you go to a restaurant, I'm sure you see it a lot. Like if they bring their kids, like they got their kids on an iPad.
Yeah.
Like now they're not killing each other as much as because they're like,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's war. Cast, remember from the last episode, we've made a couple of changes. We've now consolidated the cast together. We're now on 5 categories. As much as I hated it, I still did Truffle Shuffle for yes, because it just felt like...
Should we make that no?
Let's make that no. Let's switch it. Well, although the second one makes a lot of sense. Goonies always make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
say Goonies then.
Goonies?
Yeah.
Just say Goonies?
Goonies for yes and Truffle Shuffle for no.
Yes. There were plenty of quotes about being Goonies. I do like that they have a mythology that they've developed. All right, cast. So top bill cast is Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, and Jeff Cohen as Chunk. That's a kind of a crazy top bill.
Yeah, for real though.
Random. How did they pick that? And
Did
then
this come out before or after Temple of Doom?
84, the year after.
So yeah,
or the year before. Sorry.
Okay, just making sure because that is weird though.
Yeah.
That Kihei Kwan was not in top build.
Temple of Doom feels so much more modern to me than this movie.
It really does.
Yeah, even though it's a year before.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a difference in style.
Yeah.
But
Anywho, supporting cast.
Yeah, Corey Feldman is Mouth, the great Corey Feldman. Carrie Green is Andy, which, by the way, in a lot of the research I did, people that grew up during this era, she was the child crush. Like,
oh, yeah.
People that grew up during this.
I'm not surprised.
Yep. Martha Plimpton is Steph. It almost looks like strep throat. Kei Hoi Kwan, who's now an Oscar winner as Data, the Asian stereotype. And then John Machuzak is Sloth. And then we got Joe Pantoliano. I always say Joey Pants because Pantoliano is so hard to say. As Francis, Ann Ramsey as Mama Fratelli, who she's been Mama before,
AKA Pierce Morgan.
Yep, and then Robert Davi.
On to you, Pierce.
Robert Davi is Jake, the other Fratelli.
So I am definitely going to give this a Goonies. I think everyone did their job. Again, Chunk was really the only one I just couldn't stand, and not even for the reasons the movie wanted me to not stand him. I just couldn't get behind him at all. But for what this movie was, and especially when it came out, I can see why people who grew up with this movie love it so much. It is a very fun ride. You get to see a pirate ship. You get to, I feel like everyone as a kid always wanted to end up being a part of an adventure like this, and that's why like stories like this, like Time Bandits and this, and even down to the Sandlot, like there was an adventure and a legend tied to it. I feel like every kid wanted that, like from the 60s onward. So I think these kids really brought that to life. I thought all the villains were fun as hell for villains. Yeah, it's a Goonies for me. I enjoyed it.
I just think it's too disoriented. I mean, I know they're kid actors and they can only do so much, but I just think they're not being directed well. Yeah. I just think it's so funny that Josh Brolin would go on to be one of the greats, and has done
Sean Astin too.
Sean Astin's done a ton of work. Some people grew up to do some good work from this, but it's the dialogue is so clashed. And again, I know that's not the children's fault. They're kids. They need to be directed. But we've even talked about the Sandlot on this podcast. By this time, people have listened to our Sandlot episode.
Yeah.
There are situations where we've had kids younger than this that have been directed better. And I just don't think, and I think the adults are horrible. Oh, yeah. The parents are
they're the worst.
So bad.
They're
just
worst.
Like when at the end, this is one of the worst endings I've ever seen. It is one of the most congealed, weird. We're going to shove a shit ton of weird storyline into 5 minutes. And we're going to adopt Sloth apparently into this family. And the parents are just so bad.
But that's writing.
I know, but the performances are bad. They're all bad. And I know what your thing is that like if everyone's bad, that's on the director.
Yeah.
But I am a Josh Brolin super fan. Yeah. Like No Country for Old Men changed me.
Oh yeah.
Best movie ever.
It's so fucking
it's my
good.
favorite movie ever.
It's incredible. And Josh Brolin's performance changed me. Seeing him here was painful. Corey Feldman. I love Corey Feldman.
I thought he was the best in this. I thought he was fantastic.
He's pretty good. He's one of the better ones, but still annoying. Friday the 13th 4 and The Lost Boys are two of my favorite movies. I love him. And Corey Feldman crushes in both of those movies. Horrible here for the most part, I think. I just think there's not... Data. Here's the thing. The only one is Data that I can sink my teeth into, but he's such a bad Asian stereotype.
Oh, it's so bad.
That I'm just like, even the one I like is just a bad, like all Asians are geniuses and invent things. Like, it's just like, not all of them.
And it's like he's got all that shit strapped to him. It's like, it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he's got the lights.
Yeah.
And he's got a boxing glove that
was
shoots
my favorite
out.
part. I love those things. I loved, especially like right at the end where he's like, hey guys, slick shoes.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, and he just opens his shoes,
Fully
dumps
lights.
oil out.
I loved it. It was so funny.
It was so weird. It sucked.
It's a fantasy movie for kids. Like that's again, like kids always want to have the weird gadgets, and then especially at the end, knowing his dad's an inventor, like it made sense.
I'm just gonna say I'm 1/8. I know I'm 1/8 Filipino, but it's my heritage. It's how I got my last name.
Okay, Elizabeth Warren.
I will. Yes, I know. I will say that I try not to play this card, but since on this podcast I am the 1/8 Asian representative, they never let the Asians off in pop culture. Japanese internment camps after World War II, they get made fun of in movies. Harvard is now is discriminating against accepting them into their college because they're too smart to get into Harvard. It's like, when do we get a break, man?
So I'm gonna agree with you on this. Woo! Because I just again, I know it's a fantasy movie, but the plot didn't feel cohesive.
We're talking about acting. We're only talking about acting right now.
Yeah, but are you saying the cast didn't? The acting didn't help.
The acting didn't help.
It's hard to understand.
It was already a chaotic plot, and the acting didn't help. And it was just like, I don't know. It was strange. The parents were awful. Like, why are you losing your house? Like, all this shit. Truffle Shuffle.
Yeah,
there you go.
And we've seen Donner deliver some amazing performances.
Yeah.
I mean, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover and Joe Pesci in Lethal Weapon 2 are fucking
phenomenal.
dynamite.
That's one of the best movies ever.
We've seen Christopher Reeve, Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Just not here.
Yeah, you kind of shit the bed on this one.
Wow.
But it's a cult. I mean, this is just two guys' opinions. He's a multimillionaire off of that movie.
Yep. Had a house in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a bunch of kids in it.
1-0, and we're shaking our fat to the wind here. Or 0-1. So Truffle Shuffle. So writing, and that is an interesting category because the writers of this are Steven Spielberg and Christopher Columbus.
See, this is where I was just gonna go. Yeah, Truffle Shuffle, because like the writing is where I felt like everything suffered. Again, you can't blame actors for bad writing, and as you have to do what you can with bad writing. Liam Neeson proved that in Phantom Menace. I mean, honestly, half the actors in the Star Wars movies in general, they're so terribly written. At least the ones by George Lucas.
So bad.
They're so bad. He should never write. He should produce, maybe direct, but even that's a little questionable. As far as this is concerned, yeah, I think the reason for y'all the acting performances fell flat is not because of the actors. I think it's genuinely because of the writing. So for me, that's where it's Truffle Shuffle.
I'm Truffle Shuffle on that. I mean, but like how many movies has Steven Spielberg done?
Tons.
Oh,
I mean, it's hundreds.
And
so
then you
it's
have to say as a producer or a director. Yeah.
Right. I know. So it's like you're gonna miss one here and there.
Yeah. Oh, he's got plenty of misses, but too bad his hits are way too good.
Right.
Jaws and Saving Private Ryan. It's like, okay,
yeah,
you proved something.
I mean, yeah.
No, I go Truffle Shuffle here. It's some of the worst writing I've had to tackle on this podcast.
Yeah. Granted, it's no City of Angels.
That's true. I would rather watch City of Angels than this.
Oh no, I would way rather watch this. That was so miserable watching those 4 movies.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I would rather be...
I'm still mad about that.
The Crow is one of my top 50 all-time favorite movies. I would rather be in the bastardized version of one of my favorite worlds ever put on screen that was a complete jab at Brandon Lee, who died making the movie. I would still rather be in that world than listening to these kids bumble over each other with the bad dialogue, written by 2 legends, by the way. It's just bad, and it's so disjointed. There's no character. I left this movie. This is maybe the only time I try to find some redemptive character that I can sink my teeth to in every movie I watch. I left this one with 0. There are straight-to-TV movies. RoboCop 3 was straight to VHS, and there were characters in that I cared more about and sympathized more with than in this fucking movie.
I'm still mad that you made me spend $42 to watch 4 Crow movies.
I know. I was testing you. It was the first thing we ever did together.
I'm shocked I'm still here.
You're still here. Hey, that was a lot of fun.
Are there 4 Crow
There's
movies?
5.
Yeah.
What?
And only one of them was good.
Yeah.
The first one was decent.
Yeah. That's the only one that's good.
Yeah.
And there's 4 more.
And 2 of them were straight to VHS and DVD.
Yeah. One starred Tara Reid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss when she used to be like hot and around.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on her decent on that one. She's still kind of like, in that one, you're kind of like, oh, she's got problems.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan's making a comeback, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of her.
As is Pam Anderson with a Naked Gun, which apparently is incredible.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently, it is the perfect level of stupid where it's actually the perfect turn your brain off, just enjoy it for what it is movie.
Well, and like those Naked Gun movies are so good with Liam... with
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen, and then I saw like Liam Nielsen was the guy in this new one. I was like, he is such a stiff guy.
Mm-hmm. He can be, but he can be hilarious when he wants to be.
But that's good, that's good.
When he was in Ted 2 and he walks in and he's just like, so I've been told this cereal, it's just for kids. And he's like, oh yeah, that's the slogan. He's like, so you're telling me that if I get this cereal, I'm going to be
come
fine.
after me.
No one's going to come after me. And then he comes back at the end of the movie and returns it, and he's like beaten to shit. He's like,
but what does he say at the end of the scene? He goes, you have no idea the service you've done for me today.
That's fucking great.
It actually makes sense. So I actually, in my top 50 list, I have just all 3 Naked Guns in my top 50 together.
Nice.
My dad was a cop, so we grew up loving those movies.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I hate remakes of my favorite movies, but Liam Neeson's the guy.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I will see that.
And Seth MacFarlane, who genuinely loves those movies,
Yeah.
so he's
Yeah.
doing this to pay homage to them.
It's one of the few remakes I'm supporting.
Yeah.
Anyway, writing in the Goonies was bad. 0 to
Very bad.
directing. Richard Donner, who is a legend of Superman and Lethal
Slash
Weapon.
Steven Spielberg.
Get the bad.
Yep, and quote unquote mostly Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, it's a truffle shuffle for me. It was rough.
Shuffling and truffling.
Yeah.
Again, I get why if you grew up with this, you loved it, but it was hard to get through. It was better this time than the first time, but still wasn't great.
What about you?
I think it's just, I think it was just lackluster. And again, it's a nostalgia thing because I think when people watch it, they remember what life was like when they saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that movie, Dude, Where's My Car? Have you guys seen that
It's so
recently?
bad.
It's stupid.
It's
Dude,
fucking terrible.
I didn't like it when it came out.
Dude, when I was a kid, I used to love it. And then I rewatched it as an adult, and I'm like, I was mentally challenged for liking this.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I think, and my mom used to give me shit about the movie. She's like, "This is stupid. Why are we watching this?" And I was like, "No, it's so funny."
Yeah.
Like, and then now I watch that and I'm like, I want to pull my
Sorry,
fucking
Mom.
hair out. Yeah. And it's already, I
It's
did.
already
It's
gone, and
gone.
you
It's
still
gone.
wanna
I'm going
pull
to
it
pull my
out.
beard out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Just sitting there ripping chest hair out.
Yeah, this is I'll have to go to delve into my shit ton scale. This is a shit ton of a shit ton of a truffle shuffle.
Yeah.
This is a catastrophe in so many ways. It's all nostalgia. I'm sorry, I'm not usually this negative, but
Yes, you are.
okay, I'm very negative.
It's very negative.
Yeah. But I just don't get it. I'm sorry if you love this. It's disorganized. The dialogue is bad. There's a lack of cohesion, and there's a lack of a plot that makes sense. I think it drops the ball.
Well, okay, that I will disagree with you. The plot makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that fills in the plot that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's the steps that it takes in between.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys something? You know how the part when they go into the cooler downstairs in the restaurant and they find the guy shot in the head?
Yeah.
Did they ever address who that was?
I think they did. I can't remember the guy's name, but
Yeah.
they knew who he was.
Okay, I was like,
It was very quick, though.
I like that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like I ever remember that being
I
addressed.
think that was the wallet they found further down. Was
Ah,
his wallet.
okay.
Yeah.
It's 0 to 3. We're truffling and shuffling away here, even though we disagreed with the choice to put that in the movie. What's in front of us? Cinematography, production, design, sound, costumes, editing, and stunts.
Forgetting the egregious ADR, because that, I think, is where this film really suffered the most. I think with the same script, you still could have gotten better performances with better ADR, and it would have been a little more passable. Outside of the ADR, this is one of the most beautiful fantasy movies I've seen from the 80s. The special effects of the floor dropping down when she's playing the bone organ, I thought was fantastic. The pirate ship itself, I thought was super well done. It was very... The least chaotic thing about it was actually the shots. Like, I actually thought it was filmed well. It was the editing kind of is what made it a little more chaotic than it needed to be for me. So at this point, yeah, whatever's on screen, ADR and editing are the only negatives I have about it. So for me, I'm not going to say this is like hands down a Goonies, but it's a solid like 6.5 Goonies. It's a little between a scotch and a shit ton.
I'm gonna truffle shuffle it, man. I just again because like I just like we've talked about the lip lineup and it being kind of messed up, and it just because we were talking about Indiana Jones earlier and how well that was shot and like edited and all that. Then you compare it. It's just,
I think the sets of this were pretty equal to Indiana Jones.
I just flat out didn't really like the movie at all, but not gonna lie. But yeah, it just seemed like this was kind of a shotgun movie at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to go squeak below Truffle Shuffle on this one. I actually agree with you. I think the last parts of the movie, the set pieces are really cool.
Yeah.
I think the ship is really cool, and I actually like the image of it on the ocean.
Yeah.
That was cool. And I think the piano part was really cool with the bones, like playing the bones or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I just wish up until that point I was invested because I was so ready to be done with this. I was so ready to turn it off.
I know.
And I was like, oh, these are pretty cool, but the story still drives me insane.
Yeah.
So that's why I went below. I wish there was more gravitas and meaning to these images and to these set pieces being used because that was cool. But I'm just so annoyed up until that point that I just kind of lost.
I don't know. I loved the house that they started in. I loved the outdoor setting that they had. I thought it was really cool when they went into the restaurant and like how creepy it was, like at the same time. And then when they the way they kept finding ways to get into the like through the fireplace and everything. I don't know. I thought again for what's in front of us and what's on the screen, I thought that was the best part of the movie.
You convinced me. I'm going to go a squeak above.
Boom!
I'm going to go a squeak above. 1 to 3, Goonies. We got one on the board for good. Yes,
We needed to, or else we would get crucified.
That's all right. You can't get any lower here on the Movie Wars podcast than just being in front of the public on a regular basis. Yes. Last category, and here's our bro category. I called this one "Love Me 2 Times."
Okay.
After the Great Doors song, my second favorite band all the time, R.I.P. Or second favorite band of all time, R.I.P. Jim Morrison. And
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, and Val Kilmer. Wow, they're all dead. All the good ones died. I call it "Love Me 2 Times" because the biggest thing that came up in my research that I was really shocked by is just this strong public desire from fans of this movie for the sequel.
Yeah.
Should there be a sequel?
No.
No.
Like what? No.
Yeah.
They're going to make one because it's money.
I don't think they will, though.
But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with entertainment in Hollywood right now is they are desperately playing on the nostalgia of a generation that can't buy houses, but they attach to that 90s shit.
Yeah.
Because that's when life made sense.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like millennials are notorious for there's like a 90s store up the road here. You know what I mean? Like we desperately grip on to that 90s decade and live in this nostalgia because that was pre 9/11, things were pre-COVID, you know what I mean? Like the things were a lot better.
H1N1.
Yeah.
There was still hope then,
Yeah.
Now we're like in today it feels dystopian at times, but they're doing all these reboots like Happy Gilmore 2. What was the purpose of that?
Yeah,
I don't know,
haven't seen it yet, so
But our dear friend Nick Swartzen's in it.
he is.
Nick was on the podcast.
Nice,
He's
that's
in it.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's purely a money grab.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then from what I understand, because I mean, if you remember the end of Happy Gilmore 2, he got his grandma's house back.
Yeah.
Everything was fine.
Yeah.
It was resolved.
Yeah.
But now they're doing all these reboots, and they're like, oh, it's the kids of this person's now involved, and it's like,
What's funny too, you say that but you know what came out like when they announced Happy Gilmore 2 was going to come out? Then Owen Wilson has a golf themed show on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And it was almost announced around. It's almost like, okay, they were at the meeting. What's going to happen? What do we need? There's golf. We're going to do golf stuff now, everybody. All the pedophiles need to make golf movies now. So you're right.
And the thing is like what I haven't seen the movie, but from what I understand and what a lot of people have told me is in Happy Gilmore 2, they just show a lot of the old movie.
Yeah, flashbacks.
Yeah, and it's like literally like a quarter of the movie is just the original
Interesting.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Which is lazy.
Going back to the category, finishing this off, I say Truffle Shuffle. I mean, I'm over these sequels for the most part anyway, but I do think there are, like Richard Donner's Lethal Weapon 2 is better than any movie in that series. I mean, there are instances where the sequel is either better.
Sequels are not inherently bad.
Yeah.
But the thing about sequels is they come out that are good, like Terminator 2, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Judgment Day.
Change the film
That
industry.
came out 2 or 3 years after the original.
No, it came out a whole decade later.
Was it a decade
years.
later?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first one was 84.
All right. Well, that's my fault. But it was still not 30 fucking years later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There does come a point where it's like, no, just let it.
I mean,
let
it- like a
live, let it be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you just let it be its own thing, but it's like 30 years, 40 years later. They came out in 85. That's almost, 40 years? Why do I need a sequel from a movie that's 40 years ago? And then, like, all the Gen Zs and all those people, they're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this stupid shit?
Yeah,
And if-
every
you know-
now and then there are movies that do that. Like one of my favorite examples of that is the Before trilogy, which we do need to cover at some
Yeah.
point because Richard Linklater not only did he like set the movies 9 years apart, but he shot them 9 years apart.
Right.
And it follows the story of this couple who meet, and then at the end of the first movie they part, and then 9 years later they happen to meet again and they rekindle everything, and then 9 years later you see what life has been like. And that's one of those instances where he wasn't even originally going to do a sequel, but then he and Ethan Hawke and Julie Depley all wanted to do a sequel, so then he wrote the next two movies.
No, I totally agree, and there's very few franchises that I love.
Yeah.
Most of the movies on my top 50 are standalone.
Yeah.
Examples that aren't are Naked Gun,
RoboCop.
RoboCop, which I hate the sequel.
Yeah.
I actually love the sequel because Peter Weller's great in it, but it's not a good story. And that was actually an example I was going to go to where like there have been like Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9, was going to do a true RoboCop 2. Like he was going to, even though they've come up with 3 and the reboot already, and he was rumored to do, and he was, but he ended up not doing it. He was going to make a direct sequel to the first.
Okay.
And there are moments where like, if I could get a redo, RoboCop 2 would be that one. But yeah, I think it's interesting. The point I want to make, and this is just from my point of view as a writer, as an author, that it's easier to do in literature when you're talking specific about what kind of sequel this would need to be. They would have to make a choice. Do we have a brand new batch of kids like they do in Ghostbusters?
Yeah. Or
movies like that where we're going to have a new group of kids who are maybe mentored by the older Goonies.
Yeah.
But then you have like It, where they're telling both the stories of those characters as children and as an adults.
Yeah.
And then you have like Bret Easton Ellis, who Bret Easton Ellis's first novel that he wrote when he was 17 was Less Than Zero. He's the author of American Psycho, my third favorite author of all time. But Less Than Zero was about these college-age LA kids that are super jaded, they're drug addicted. There's all kinds of like dark LA shit in there.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago, he released a book called Imperial Bedrooms, which was them as adults. In literature, you have the canvas for that. To do it on screen, if it's not like an It horror story where you're okay with skipping the middle piece, literature is a better place for that.
Yeah.
To do it on screen, it has to be done. And that's why people criticized It 2, the remake, because of how it kind of handled people didn't love the transformation. They loved the It remake part 1. They kind of felt like it dropped the ball with the adult transformations. So it's just specific to this subject matter. It has to be handled with care.
Yeah.
You have to really trust the director, and you probably need a 3-hour, 2.5-hour runtime.
Yeah.
Do people want 2.5 hours, 3 hours of the Goonies?
No.
Like,
do you want one of the two?
Do you want 3 hours of the Little Rascals? No. I mean, no. So that's my long ass answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, 1 to 4.
It needed at least one.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all, but I do appreciate people's. I'm one for nostalgia. I mean, I have so many movies that I love that are nostalgia. I mean, we all do. This one just doesn't hit for me. But if you love it, that's great.
Yeah, he just thinks you're wrong and stupid.
Yeah, it was so great to have Matt West back.
Absolutely.
I was so glad to be back.
Yeah, follow his Instagram though. What's your Instagram?
It's Matthew.West.31.
There we go. Follow his Instagram. He'll keep you updated on anything that he's got going on. Dude's all over the place at times. So.
I am.
Yeah.
And if you come to Nashville, come eat some of his French Creole-inspired fusion chefery.
Yeah, so I'm the chef at Deacon's New South by Printer's Alley. I got a new menu rolling out on the 15th. So come by and check that out. Oyster Bar opening on the 5th. Love to see you guys there.
Hell yeah.
Stay sexy.
I'm so hungry. I'm Kyle.
I'm Seth.
I'm Matt West.
Movie Wars.